She opened a folder, read 5 names tied to Epstein, and in less than 10 minutes, the White House cut the cameras, and the president walked out. You ever see one of those moments on live TV where everything just stops? Not because someone yelled, not because someone stormed out, but because someone said something so sharp, so undeniable, it shattered the script. The hearing was supposed to be forgettable. Another bureaucratic droning about agency budgets, the kind of dry political theater that even C-SPAN viewers skip. But then Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett adjusted her mic, her voice calm, her posture unshaken. No theatrics, no grandstanding, just a quiet, deliberate motion as she slid a single sheet of paper across the desk. What I'm about to read, she said, comes directly from declassified files. These are names tied to Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs, and 2 of them currently hold senior positions in this administration. The room didn't erupt. It froze. The air thickened like syrup. Somewhere in the West Wing, President Trump, mid-briefing, surrounded by advisors, paused the TV, his knuckles whitening around the remote. Across the Capitol, staffers' phones lit up with frantic texts. Twitter feeds exploded. But Jasmine, she didn't raise her voice. She didn't smirk. She just kept reading dates, locations, flight manifests, each detail landing like a hammer on an anvil. By the time she reached the third name, federal judicial nominee with a suspiciously redacted travel history, the whispers had turned to panic. A Republican congressman, Clay Barron, tried to cut in, his voice cracking. This hearing is about institutional efficiency, not conspiracy theories. Jasmine didn't blink. If institutions are taking money from men tied to sex trafficking, she replied, I'd say that is an efficiency problem. The silence that followed wasn't just awkward, it was alive. Then came the flight logs, private jets, pseudonyms, a senior White House policy advisor, Robert Dillon listed under an alias on a manifest to Palm Beach, just miles from an Epstein-linked estate. The evidence wasn't grainy or speculative. It was time-stamped, cross-referenced, inescapable. And with every document entered into the record, the defenses crumbled. Trump canceled a press conference. A donor-linked PAC scrubbed its website. And in the Roosevelt Room, a staffer was overheard hissing, if she drops one more name, we're toast. But Jasmine wasn't done. The next folder was thinner, deadlier. Inside, a memo from a Treasury whistleblower, stamped, resigned, in bold, red letters. It detailed how flag donations routed through shell companies in the Virgin Islands had been deliberately ignored. The money trail led back to Elliot Frone, Epstein's old broker, and straight into the coffers of a super PAC shaping judicial nominations. The spin machine roared to life. Crockett's a grandstander, screamed right-wing outlets. Where's the proof? But the public wasn't buying it. Teachers in Ohio, veterans in Texas, even retired GOP donors started asking, why does this keep happening? Who's being protected? And then the bombshell. A leaked audio recording. A voice, crisp and cold, plotting to bury the story, to target Crockett's credibility. The speaker, Ernest Vick, a shadowy White House advisor. His words, if she connects Front to strategic futures, the Hill will burn. Now, the walls were closing in. Dillon, the policy advisor, requested a private meeting with Jasmine. He arrived, pale, sweating. I took the money, he admitted. I thought it was clean, but it's bigger than me. He offered names, dates, a path to the rot at the core, but only if he got protection. Jasmine leaned in. You'll testify, she said, but you won't be the only one. By dawn, the DOJ had announced an investigation. 2 White House staffers vanished into administrative leave. And in a diner outside D.C., Jasmine sat alone, reading letters from survivors, from mothers of victims, from people who'd waited decades for someone to listen. One note, smudged with tears, read, My daughter was 14. No one believed me. Maybe now they will. The vote on the investigation is tomorrow. The evidence is irrefutable. The machine is scrambling. But here's what no one's asking yet. What happens when the people who've been silent for decades finally get a microphone? Drop a comment below. Who else do you think is sweating tonight?